Delegates from the Democratic National Committee got a blue carpet welcome Monday at the Barclays Center from star native son Chuck Schumer. Why de Blasio really wants the convention? The bus from the Palace Hotel in East Midtown had taken only 16 minutes to get to downtown Brooklyn in the heat of midday New York City traffic, and because the bus was ferrying delegates from the Democratic National Committee who would decide if they would bring their 2016 convention to the city's biggest borough, this relatively easy commute was cause for celebration. And so when the dozen or so delegates stepped off the bus Monday at the entrance to the Barclays Center, the gleaming new basketball arena that, depending on who you ask, has come to symbolize Brooklyn's rebirth or its ruin, they were greeted triumphantly by Chuck Schumer, who proudly calls himself the first senator from Brooklyn in over a century. "Welcome, welcome to Brooklyn," the senators sang as each delegate descended from the bus. Schumer, who for a day at least was the borough's designated chief cheerleader, shouted out their hometowns in turn as the delegates told him where they hailed from, as if hearing the names rendered in the distinct twang of Brooklyn would provide some of the comforts of home. "Miami. D.C., okay. Brooklyn," rang out as one local got off the bus and fell into Schumer's waiting embrace. "I've lived here for 63 years and it keeps getting better and better." As a crowd of Brooklynites gathered around the perimeter of the Barclays Center and gawked, the delegates stepped onto a long blue carpet, to distinguish from Republican red, see? Followed by a local high school marching band and step team, which serenaded the streets with Celebrate and other horn-heavy hits. Once the delegates were safely inside, where they dined on bratwurst from the Hipster restaurant Brooklyn and bangers and old-school local nosh like juniors, Schumer stepped out alongside a phalanx of local elected officials to make the case to the media that the DNC should call New York home in 2016. "My high school alone, Madison High School, had 3 senators at one point, a Republican, an Independent, and a Democrat," he said. "We have a Supreme Court justice, several Pulitzer Prize and Nobel Prize winners, and Chris Rock, all from one high school in Brooklyn. So there is something special in the air in Brooklyn, and every one of the delegates will breathe it and go away better for it. Brooklyn has become hip, cool, and young, just like their senator. As for those other cities vying to host the Democrats in 16, well," Schumer seemed to say, "who are we kidding? Now, people say that Philadelphia is our other major contender," he said. "Philly is a nice city, but it ain't Brooklyn." The senator pointed to the statue at Coney Island of Pee Wee Reese with his arm around Jackie Robinson, a moment captured to quell the booing Robinson was facing during a game in Cincinnati, a town that, Schumer noted, is near Columbus, another city vying to host the DNC. "And what about concerns that the hotels of Midtown are too far away from the Barclays Center? Gobbledygook. I remember sitting in Los Angeles traffic. I remember those long bus rides in Chicago," Schumer said, recalling conventions past. "There is going to be nothing like that." After Barclays, the delegates were wined and dined throughout the city. There was a dinner at the Metropolitan Museum of Art, a meeting at the Brooklyn Academy of Music with cultural ambassadors from around the city, and a barbecue at Gracie Mansion, Mayor Bill de Blasio's official residence.